Okay, so going to redo this piston. You can see there's an arrow on this that points towards the front. And you can see the depressions here, although you can't see the arrow. But there's also this bump. This bump is to the front of the engine. So the two recessions there, the two recessions here and the arrow point to the front, and that points to the front too. It's good to verify that before you take it apart. You want to make sure that you put the arrow facing the bump towards the front. So there's a keeper to keep the wrist pin in. And these are good ones. The Toyotas, even when you get the keeper out, often you'll have to use an arbor press to push that through. With the German ones, it's not so. They're made pretty well. And I'm going to need my little screwdriver, Joe. So you get this little screwdriver, and there's a little hole right here. Good safety first, glasses. This thing can go 15, 20 feet. So you pop that pin up, keep your thumb there on the other side, and work it around. And you take it out. You don't want to get it confused with your new ones. So once you have that out, flip it over and push on the other side. And because it's a German vehicle, the wrist pin will come right out. It'll be hard to start over, John. So once you have that out, you can pull it all the way out or leave it there. It doesn't matter. You're not going to need it. So then you come to assemble the new one. We'll start with the piston. It doesn't have any retainers, so you got to put a retainer in one side. So choose whichever side, it doesn't really matter. There's a little hole right there to help you take it out, but it also helps you install it. So you're going to want to install this part over there away from the hole. So you want your hole to be close to the end of the other one. Okay, get your finger on it, push down, and get your screwdriver, put it in that hole, and press inward until she pops in. And I gotta say, you gotta use a little careful here because you don't want to slide in and scratch your scratch that wrist pin. So we're going to keep on going there. So now that we got that, we can start assembling it. So we're going to go with the lower ring. It's an oil control ring. It doesn't really have a top or a bottom. If it had a name on it, you would know which way's the top or a couple dots. But oil control rings generally do not have any dots on them. They do have a mountain. So there's mountains and valleys. So when you come to the end of the ring, you want the mountain to face up and the leg to face down. Okay, so the square mountain faces up and the open leg faces down. And once again, that's the front of the engine. So we want to put this somewhere over here. And you got to put the oil control ring in first. Okay, so I got it in there. Legs down, mountains up. Now this needs to be at least 90 degrees off of that one. And you got to watch so you don't move it too much. 90 degrees is good. There we go. And slip it in. So they painted it red so it'll be easier to see. There it is. There's that one. And there's the open there. Not quite 90, but close enough. They're far enough apart. And then you got to put the top one on. And we'll put that one so it comes out over here. Once again, if it had a manufacturer's mark, that would be the top. or a dot. But I have never seen an oil scraper ring, manufacturer's mark or a dot. Okay, and so now that's in there, nice and good. That's one open space. There's another right there and one right here. So these are 180 apart. That's about nice, close enough. So these are your other rings. You don't want them on the front or the back of the engine. You want them on the side. So you've only got two, so pick a side. And this has a number on it, and that's going to be the top. If it would have a dot, that would also be the top. There's also a ridge on the bottom here on the outside. And if we looked at one of the old pistons, we'd see the ridge is on the bottom on that one as well. So sometimes it's good to keep the other one around. So we're going to put it over here. So just kind of go around. And you can oil these, but it makes a mess putting them on when they're oiled. So I never do that. There you go. So that one's there. And then you can see the number on the top. Now these dots, usually has dots on the top ring, and this one doesn't, but it does have the manufacturer's number, and that faces up. Now sometimes they're beveled, and you can tell with the bevel, but this is pretty square. Kind of unusual for a top one. Usually they're beveled. It might have a slight bevel. I just can't see it anymore. Get that on there. Once again, we don't want on front or the back of the engine, and we want it opposite this one. And there we go. So we got an opening here, and then an opening here, and the middle of the oil rings over there. So they're all staggered. And now to put it together. And remember I talked about the front of the piston. So the piston has a front to go to the front of the engine. And so does the piston ring. Or connecting arm, I should say. So put a little oil on that. Get that started in there. Okay. And get our connecting rod, find our dot. That's the front of the engine. Find our arrow. This is the front of the piston. They go together. That's very important. So the front of the connecting rod and the arrow front. Fronts all line up. So now we just got to put this ring in here. And again, we want the side, we want that last piece of ring to be close to that indentation so we can get it in. And you can oil these, and I haven't had good luck with oil making them any easier. Just get your little screwdriver down in that, and this is where having a good screwdriver, Craftsman or a Klein, makes a bit of a difference. And get it in there. She snaps right in. So now we got a whole piston. Turn it. Our arrow, our dot, all great. It's ready to go in this block with all the rest of them. Now when I go to put them in, I'm going to take these and soak them in oil. And get them soaked in oil, and then slide them in with a ring compressor. But that's enough for the video now.